Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel, Buddha Affirmation. Here every story has a purpose and every lesson is meant to help you grow in a life. So let's dive into a new story that will teach us a deep lesson about how to react according to the circumstances. So let's start the story. Once upon a time, in a quiet village in Japan, there lived a Zen master on the outskirts of the community. He was well known for his wisdom and calm demeanor, and people from all over the village deeply respected him. Whenever he came into the village to collect alms, the villagers would greet him warmly and offer him food, gifts, and kind words. But one day, everything changed. In that same village, there was a young, unmarried girl who suddenly became pregnant and gave birth to a child. When her family discovered this, they were shocked and angry. They wanted to know who the father of the child was. Under immense pressure and fear of judgment, the girl panicked and blurted out the first name that came to her mind, the Zen master. Hearing this, his father became very angry and said, "How could someone so respected and revered do such a thing?" Without stopping to think, he rallied the villagers and marched to the Zen master's small hut at the edge of the village. The respect they once held for the Zen master disappeared in an instant, replaced by anger and betrayal. When they reached the hut, the mob surrounded it, shouting accusations and hurling insults. Some of them set fire to the hut, destroying the peaceful home where the Zen master had lived for years. Despite the chaos, the Zen master stepped outside, calm and unshaken, and said in a calm voice, "What's the matter?" The girl's father stepped forward and shouted, "This child is yours. Take responsibility and care for it." The Zen master paused, looked at the angry crowd, and then looked at the crying child they had brought with them. Finally, he said, "Is that so? Is the child mine?" Without arguing or defending himself, the Zen master reached out and gently took the baby into his arms. The child began to cry loudly. So the Zen master started humming a soft tune to calm the baby. Seeing his reaction, the villagers, still angry but now somewhat confused, left the child with him and returned to their homes. From that day forward, the Zen master raised the child as if it were his own. He fed the baby, cared for it, and carried it with him wherever he went. When he returned to the village to beg for alms, however, things were different. The villagers who once greeted him with smiles and generosity now slammed their doors in his face. People whispered behind his back, shouted insults, and some even threw stones at him as he walked through the streets. Still, the Zen master remained calm. He did not complain or try to explain himself. He simply cared for the child and went about his life. Several months passed, and one day the Zen master stood outside the house of the young girl who had claimed he was the father. Holding the baby in his arm, he knocked on the door and said, "I'm not asking for food for myself, but please, could you give some milk for this child? I may have made mistakes, but what has this innocent child done to deserve such hardship?" The girl heard the baby crying and felt a deep sense of guilt. She could not bear the sound anymore. Overwhelmed with remorse, she fell at her father's feet and confessed the truth. "I lied," she said through tears. "The Zen master is not the father of my child. I was afraid of revealing the real father's identity, so I used his name to protect someone else." Her father was shocked and ashamed of what he had done. He realized how bad he had done to the Zen master. Without wasting another moment, he ran to the Zen master, who was still standing outside, and fell at his feet. "Please forgive me," her father begged. "This child is not yours. We made a terrible mistake." The Zen master looked at the man and, with the same calmness he had shown all along, replied, "Is that so? The child is not mine." Then, without hesitation, he handed the child back to her father and turned to leave. As the Zen master walked away, the villagers who had gathered around to witness the scene began murmuring among themselves. Some were angry and others were confused. Finally, someone called out, "Why did not you deny it earlier? Why did you let us believe the child was yours? Why did not you defend yourself when we insulted you, burned your heart, and treated you so cruelly?" And then the Zen master turned to face the crowd and said, "What difference would it have made if I had denied? Would you have believed me? You had already decided I was guilty. You had already burned one heart. You might have burned another. You had enjoyed defaming one person, and you would have simply found someone else to defame. The child needed someone to care for it, and that is what mattered most to me." The crowd fell silent, but someone else spoke up. "But the child was not yours. We condemned you, insulted you, humiliated you, and you lost your good reputation. Everyone thought you were a terrible person, and still you did not say anything. Why?" The Zen master replied with a gentle smile, "I am neither good nor bad. I am simply myself. I have let go of the need to be seen as good or bad in the eyes of others. Your respect and your disrespect are your own concern, not mine. I do what I believe is right, and you do what you believe is right. That's all." And then the Zen master went back, tearing through the crowd. This story teaches several important lessons that we can apply in our own lives. Number 1. Equanimity. One of the most profound lessons is about equanimity. Despite being falsely accused, insulted, and humiliated, the Zen master did not let his emotion control him. He stayed centered and grounded, showing us the value of maintaining inner peace even when the world around us is chaotic. True happiness comes from this kind of steadiness, which is not easily shaken by external circumstances. Number 2. Acceptance. Equanimity leads to acceptance. The Zen master did not fight the situation or try to prove his innocence. He accepted the reality of what was happening and focused on what he could do to make things better. He cared for the child even though he knew it was not his. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means understanding what we can and cannot change and acting accordingly. Number 3. Non-judgment. Another key lesson is the power of non-judgment. The Zen master did not judge the villagers for their actions, even when they burned his home and insulted him. He understood that their behavior came from ignorance and fear, not from malice. By not taking the actions personally, he was able to maintain his peace of mind. We can also take inspiration from this story and apply this lesson in our daily lives. When we face difficult situations, we can strive to remain calm and centered instead of reacting with anger or frustration. By cultivating equanimity, we can learn to accept life as it comes, focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. Non judgment is also another powerful tool. Instead of rushing to conclusions or holding grudges, we can try to see things as they are, free from our own biases and assumptions. This perspective helps us understand others better and fosters compassion and empathy. Ultimately, the Zen Master story reminds us that we don't need to be defined by how others perceive us. We are neither wholly good nor wholly bad. We are simply ourselves, doing the best we can in the circumstances we find ourselves in. By living with integrity, accepting ourselves and others, and staying true to what we believe is right, we can lead more meaningful and peaceful lives. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this video, hit like button, and for more such stories, subscribe to our channel. Thank you and stay positive.